Well, a Mope is a low-end porn performer who does the dirtiest and probably nastiest work in porn. And it's sort of an entry-level position, and they all hope they're going to rise up and be the next John Holmes or the next big porn star. But because of usually not being well endowed or having some personality issue, hygiene, they're just never going to make it. I kind of was vaguely familiar with it when it happened in 2010, but a few years later, someone sent me an article about it, a few articles, and then I was inspired by it. Then I went and I sought out all the people who survived, and once I met them, I gained their trust and they let me into their world. And it was kind of like a deep dive into this periphery of porn that I knew nothing about. And the more I researched, the more I was interested, and the more I found out unique details that made it into the film. So it was kind of almost like an obsession, like figuring out everything that happened and what motivated everybody.
I was on holiday. I was on vacation. I was on vacation at the time, and I was just not interested. I was like, there's no way. Like kids around and like poor. I was like, this is not something I need to think about. And I went to bed that night. So I kind of like got through a few pages, and I went to bed that night and thought, let's finish it. And it was powerful. And I was still actually on the fence, if I'm honest. I was like, I don't know if I could possibly be involved with this, but it was really, really powerful, like where they began and to what happens in the end, and then to find out it was a true story. I was really, really intrigued, and that kind of followed me the process of then meeting Lucas. And I actually didn't tell you this. I kind of was outside of the audition, and I saw this guy kind of paying his phone bill in character, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't actually be involved in this. And I called my manager and I was like, I can't do this. And he's like, get your ass in there. And like there was stages, but it really is about the story. It's really about their relationship, and I think that kind of pulled me in.
The script is the thing, and he wrote every character was so layered and beautifully written. They all had a ton of flaws and a ton of problems, but also like a real, hopes and dreams, and every single one of them. I tend to jump at kind of outer fringe stuff. I like to do that, and I talked to Lucas, and the rest is history.
I fell in love with the script like everyone else, and my character's pretty.
Charming.
Vile's a great word.
Charming.
Yeah, he's vile. So it was hard to do I want to do this? But the whole story as a whole was just this journey of these two characters, and it was really rich. It reminded me of some films I'd done in sort of the homeless kind of world, this sort of desperate thing. I don't know, it reminded me of a 70s movie kind of.
Yeah, it's weird because we were talking about that, Lucas, and it reminded me of like an Eric Roberts movie called Star 80. It was something about that world. Yeah, I watched that a lot. I love that movie. The obsession in that world, but it has that very 70s vibe as well, I think.
Yeah, and Midnight Cowboy and all this kind of stuff.
Totally that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to visit a porn shoot and be there and meet them and talk to the stars and the filmmakers, and yeah, they were so open, and they wanted to share their lives, their backgrounds with us, and yeah, they were happy to be there. It was a living that they loved. There was a camaraderie with them. They were living their dream, and I think that was the biggest misnomer maybe that I had going in, was that the assumption of what leads someone to do porn, but everyone that we met was thrilled to be doing it. And there was this kind of glowing pride that came from it. So I think that's what I took away from it. Which
it's very relatable when we started meeting these other guys, because all they do, they all have a dream.
Yeah.
And then we, I'm sure I can speak for everyone, that we all have this dream, and
we do the same thing they do, basically,
exactly,
in a very different way.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like
yeah, exactly.
But less fun.
You said less fun. I think once people see the movie, they're gonna forget that these guys are in the porn industry, and there's gonna be less judgment. We're gonna see a lot of humanity. That these guys are just chasing after these dreams to be accepted. To be known as whatever it is they wanted to pursue.
Yes, I think you have a lot more. You have I had a lot more sympathy. Just seeing the film is like, oh, you really do build a lot of sympathy for the main protagonists.
Yeah.
Because they're putting themselves, because they have their own particular isms and problems, and they're putting themselves in a situation that can exploit that can irritate or sort of heighten that stuff.
I mean, they're really giving their all.
Yeah.
To pursue this one goal.
There are lots of people who have different types of dreams, and people might not understand one person's dream, but these guys, this is what they wanted in life, and they were passionate about it. And from that perspective, it's tough to really have a judgment on them, and that's a big problem that I have. Is most people, many people in society consume pornography, but they don't. It's very easy to look down on people that make it. It's this weird dichotomy, and we definitely learn by just including as much of the real people in the story, be it interviews or like seeing stuff or actually casting real life like porn industry people in the film. We wanted to create a realism that would, when you see the movie, you feel that it's real. It doesn't feel false, and that was the main thing. That no matter what, my main direction in terms of acting would be, whatever you're saying, even if it is absurd, it's what you believe, you commit to it, because then so it's not really a joke or anything. It's something that someone's really saying. I think a lot of people in America, especially, you're taught to feel entitlement to certain things or certain things that you deserve in life. And some people, when they don't get what they feel they deserve, they lash out. And I think that was another thing that made me intrigued about the story, because it kind of involves these ideas of the American dream, and that if you work hard enough at one thing, you can succeed, which isn't necessarily true. And so that was one of the things that kind of hooked me into the story, was that imagine you have a dream that you want to be something, but you're not good at it, but you want it so bad. I think it's the existential nightmare of every creative person that every creative person feels at a certain point. You want to do something, but you're not good at it. And that was what these two characters were dealing with.
And you work so hard at it.
Yeah.
And then you get laughed
Want
at.
it. Yeah.
It's rough.
That's like me wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, but that validation of feeling you're worthy of love, and these guys, wanted it. Everybody has that, but these guys wanted, it on a DVD cover.
Yeah.
Well, now they got it.
Yeah, they did.